Yes, this is Calcat the Calicatster, and I did a rant on the lesser Oscar foreign films and stuff like that. And if you're like, you know what, I'm going to start this over, and I'm going to just do just this film because those other ones don't matter. So yes, this movie was called Flow. It was recommended by Mark's Cards. John Yeager. It's a Mark's Cards is John Yeager. Adam Brown. It's Calcat. It's obvious. The Oscar movie. It made about $9 million because it wasn't released anywhere. It is a French film. The French director has done the Way and some other stuff. French animated film. My version was I'm assuming you're supposed to watch it in 4K, but I didn't have a 4K viewer, so it was in 1080p. The movie was it is all no dialogue. It's all visual. Usually you don't do a movie where it's literally show all together and don't tell. He took it literally, show, don't tell at all, tell anything. But yes, usually you don't do that. But in this case, he did that. So I watched the film on streaming on Amazon Prime because I don't have Apple TV. It would cost the same on Apple TV anyway. It's already on streaming. It's playing in some theaters, and it does explain why last fall when this came out. It's one of those fall movies that gets the Oscar. There you go. But that's all I needed to say about that. Earlier I did this one take that just didn't work. And it's like, yeah, well in this case it deserves it. And in other cases it doesn't. Oscar will do that. They'll say, oh no, there's a movie that came out in November or December. We don't remember anything before that. This year though they've had issues with the writer's strike that was over a year ago that kind of tanked all the movies that were in production during that writer's strike. So yeah, Oscar should cancel Oscar this year, not do it, because they don't have anything. They'd have to take all the foreign movies. Yeah, so like The Wild Robot, this movie has very little direct dialogue, like that movie. That movie did have some dialogue, well, the robot dialogue and stuff. But this one doesn't have any, so you can watch it in the original French. It won't matter. There's no dialogue. I would have understood some of it anyway. So. but yes, from the limited French they got from my mother who knew some French. Also the a little bit of Italian. There's a little bit of Italian in there, so I get it. The movie is about a great flood myth, going on in a fantasy world where the animal critters are able to survive by escaping. They all go out and they're going to escape, and they get a boat, and then they get a larger boat, and then so you have a cat and a capybara and a capybara. It's sort of like a mole. We have a lemur who wants to collect things, and we have the cat. They don't have names. They're what they are. Black cat. I guess it's supposed to be a male black cat, but I assumed it was a female. That's the way it was acting. Maybe it's a trans cat. That'd be interesting. But yeah, and as a science fiction person, I assumed okay, they're on a fantasy planet, where my idea was a lot more brazen than the director actually implied. I was like, okay, on this weird alien planet, they have engineered animals to be uplifted slightly so they could build stuff and collect stuff and make their own cities and stuff out in the middle of the woods. It's after humanity is left and whatever. And it was just some of the Reddit people that I noticed later on from the review had on the Reddit had thought of something similar, but I don't think it's necessarily after people. I think it's just that it's an alien planet, and they left them there for whatever reason. So it's sort of like WALL-E meets the good robot meets the wild robot. The wild robot meets Madagascar, but not as a comedy. And it's kind of like it's Madagascar. But there's other things in it that aren't Madagascar. There's a scene where the crew sails through a Venice like city. They sail through this Venice like city. There's a scene where they sail in like a pirate cove thing, something off, the archipelago and the stuff like Australia somewhere. There's a scene where they go to first looks like the forest from Planet of the Apes, the remakes, the overgrown woods around the house from that. The house looks kind of like that from that, and the symbol, the window, and all that. There's the all these imagery and symbology. The secretary birds that kick their runt bird out for helping the cat and that kind of thing. The cassowary kind of things. You've got it's PG. It's not. I would say it's G. I guess it's PG because it's a little spooky in parts, but it's completely Kids can watch it. It's fine. There's nothing bad happening. So you have that. So that does explain why a couple of months ago some of them were playing the characters from Flow, and I have no idea what that was. Now I've seen it. I get it. Some of the kids were playing the cat and the dog and that kind of thing. It was from Flow, and I had no idea. I assumed it was a cartoon show. I know it was a movie, and was recommended later. So, the animation of the water and everything is all the animation is on a level with the Pixar and Disney, if not a little more realistic than the Pixar and Disney. At times, though, the fur is a little weird on the animals, but that might be that it's pixelated because it's not. It's down converted from 1080p, so from 4K, so it's probably not as. It's at times when they show, it's either it can't all be wet fur, it has to be dry fur. The animals you see on the boat. So the cat and his crew, the cat and the crew go out on this flood happens, and they've all got at first the elks and the deer things are chasing the cat, and then he gets on he almost drowns. The bird rescues him. Then the other guy rescues him. The whale rescues him too, and the cat does other things and leaves his house. And so you figure the flood isn't cyclical because the cat has a house where there was someone living there where he had like a giant like cat god thing that the cat goes up on. So clearly there was some sort of, that's where giving the idea of the uplifting going on, because there were other statues of rabbits and other creatures that were built up big, and there was a man statue. So I'm thinking it's an uplifted planet where their humans went there to do scientific experiments, and they uplifted the animals so that they could survive something weird happened, like a dam flood or something, like dam burst. Because it's not a natural thing that happens. It's more of a burst flood thing. And this planet, and it's got a lot of these spires that stick up and stuff around there. It's not really Earth. It's this fantasy planet. So they go on a journey on the boat when it all gets flooded, and the whales are swimming around in it, and there are tops of trees and there are buildings, and there's like a city that's half flooded. And there's stuff higher up. There's even a scene where they're what appears to be a Great Wall of China type of thing, walking around, scaling up large areas of cement and ground and stuff. So clearly humans have been there and they've built this stuff. And they built the stuff on higher ground because maybe it happens on occasion on the planet, which is where they get the idea. This alien planet that's been terraformed. I'd like to think that it's an alien planet that's been terraformed. Is it Sakara from Canary Space? No. The cats would be more humanoid. But yes, is it Avatar? Is it an Avatar whale from Cameron? Well, Cameron was ripping off Thundercats, and he was ripping off other stuff. So I would say that Avatar series. No, it's not. He was ripping off a bunch of Thundercats, Pocahontas, and action movie. That's all those Avatar movies were. And they stole the name Avatar from the last Airbender series. So yeah, I know where they got that from. Uh, but anyway, we're not ranting about that. This is about the cat story, but it is similar in that that world is kind of weird and fanciful and trippy. That's how it's similar, but no, it's not Cameron. But some critics I read later have compared it to that, the Avatar, because the whale thing kind of looks like that, the whale creature. How about the humans evolved into the whales? That'd be interesting. but no. So yeah, Cat, hero's journey. Yeah, Cat and his animal friends go on a boat, and they have to. The hero's journey. They have to get to this other city, and then beyond that to the Great Wall thing that's up in the mountains, and then get onto higher ground. And they're the secretary bird apparently, and the cat go through some kind of catharsis and are pulled into a space nebula thing, and it's Bird Jesus, I guess, and Bird Jesus takes the cat but sends him back to be with his friends. Or you could and then the flood waters recede, and then the flood waters recede, and then they gotta get the boat out of the tree, but there's a whale that's beached, and that's where it is. So yeah, spoilers. They see a beached whale and they feel sorry for it. Yeah, you could interpret the ending part to be that the cat is dead. That he's literally Schrodinger's cat and he's dead at the end, and that he is just imagining in the afterlife seeing his friends again that are up in the trees and stuff, and the whale's there and his friends again. And he has catharsis at the end of the story and redemption and all that stuff. You could interpret it that way. It was like, it never survived the space flood or whatever. That all of it was symbolic. But I tend to think that no, they were trying to be like, no, he survives. He's not being killed each time. He has 9 lives, right? So he keeps coming. 9 lives. Yeah. So he's got a cat. 9 lives. Yes, I understand what is going on. I get it. It's very obvious. Oh. Yes. Yes. French people never go. Oh, by the way, that's American guys making that up. They don't do that. I think that goes back to Mel Blanc being like Pepe Le Pew or something. Probably. It's Looney Tunes, basically. But yes, the cat thing. So is it? Is it Best Picture? I mean, the material. I mean, it is dramatic and adventure and stuff. I would say in terms of it's a close matchup to The Wild Robot. I would say in terms of the story message. This message is a little more blunt, and wet and watery. That's Bird in it. Similar enough that you could say, oh, a bird befriends a bunch of people, including a fox, and goes on an adventure. It's almost kind of similar. But it's actually from the cat's perspective instead of the bird. The fox has little to do with it. He's just in the background for a few seconds in this version. I wouldn't say it is Madagascar, though. I would say it's somewhere else. It's an alien planet. It's a fantasy planet where things are sticking up that weird craggy peaks that are like fingers pointing up in the sky and funky things and you get to see that acid trip scene with the cat in the thing, or in the bird, or Jesus bird, ascend to the heavens on the Great Wall and get taken away to, because the French, because they have a lot of that wheat that makes them hallucinate. They don't have shrooms so much. They have wheat that does that, makes them trip. Yeah, in France. Yeah, that's where the werewolf stuff came from. Like centuries ago, like that Omega lady years ago, going like, "Oh, I thought of it first. I thought of werewolves first." No, you didn't. Werewolves have been around for ages and ages and ages. You didn't think of werewolf. Anyway, so there's my. Yeah, sure, Oscar contender. Sure, Best Picture contender. Foreign film. The other movies weren't foreign films, so there you go. Foreign film contender. And there's a scammer caller coming in that I'm not going to answer. Yeah, so. But yeah, foreign film contender. Yeah. Best Picture Foreign Film Contender. Yeah, under foreign film, animated foreign film. There's a category for that, so there it is. Wild Robot still gets it, but this one gets foreign film. Inside Out 2 gets sequel. So yeah, we're not too choosy about that. And as for the other, there weren't any other dramas, so there isn't anything else. It's delightful. Kids can watch it; they won't be freaked out. They will maybe disparage for the cat and his crew on the boat. But no, it's not. It's not. There's the visuals are quite striking. Yeah, they use that photorealistic environment engine thing for the kind of like they did in the Good Dinosaur, which was kind of jarring because some of the dinosaurs were like cartoonish, but then the ground was realistic. It was like weird. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing there, but Cowpoke was the T-Rex in that. So, hee-haw, or at least somebody like Cowpoke. Yeah, let's not break a copyright here. Somebody like the T-Rex. The Cowpoke was a T-Rex. Mmm. Yeah, somebody like him. They didn't pay him. Mmm. But yeah, so in this one you have Flow. It's called Flow.